Hey, hey, kids cook real food. Katie Kimball here for the Healthy Parenting Connector, where, as always, my goal is to connect you with experts who have the information you need to raise those healthy children. Today, I'm so honored to have Tsao-Lin Moy here. She's an acupuncturist out of New York with a ton of other experience. And we're going to talk about a very important topic of immunity, how we can best support our kids and our whole family's immunity and keep that going and rolling throughout the long winter, at least in New York and Michigan, where we are. It's a long winter once it gets going. Thank you so much for being here, Cho.
Thank you.
So today, again, we're talking about immunity, but I just want to give you a little bit of an insight into Cho's background because she has such a depth and breadth of background and experience. She's an expert in alternative and Chinese medicine. She's the founder of Integrative Healing Arts, which utilizes Chinese medicine, acupuncture, herbal medicine, and energy healing to treat patients. And what I love is that she's got such an integrative approach with both ancient Eastern philosophy and healing methods, but also supporting Western scientific paradigms of health. And it really is a powerful combination that helps the patient learn how to heal so they can take charge of their own health, which is so cool. Cho has a ton of experience helping women get pregnant, even women over 40 naturally, which again, families are that's so important just to support the family, and I love that so much. So lots of fertility work, although that's not our topic today, but it's neat to know that it's there. And she has a long list again of certifications and media experience. Everyone is turning to Cho with questions like this one, like how do we get that immunity up and keep it up? But I want to hear a little bit about your background, Cho. You actually started off in the corporate world. What brought you over to Eastern medicine?
Well, everybody asked me that question. Well, the corporate world just had, a limitation in terms of serving. There's a point where you find yourself on like a kind of hamster wheel and or a cog in a wheel, and not really feeling like you're making a difference.
Mm,
And once you recognize that you're not serving a greater purpose, there's something else says, okay, I want to do something that it has meaning, that I can help as many people, and also that I will never be bored with. It's something
mm,
that is a lifetime of learning. And really a big part of it too is empowering people with their own health, so that they can be in charge of their health. A lot of people feel disempowered, like they just
mm.
have to sit and wait for someone to figure out for them how to be better or to be healthy, which is great that you have this podcast where people actually learn what they can do with food, like things every day that are all around us. And I think this is really important that people know that,
Yeah,
that they have all the tools that are right there. And so that is a big part, kind of going, wait a second, we all have this capability. How can I help people with that? Because it's
nice.
very rewarding, when someone can heal themselves or get pregnant naturally, or I mean, it's a big deal.
And I'm so happy to be able to share this platform and our audience with you to do what you love and to make this difference. And I love what you said, just empowering parents to understand that they have resources at their disposal to help their family. And so I mentioned already that you sort of balance the Eastern and Western medicine. So just so we kind of know what that means, can you sort of define each end and how you find the middle ground, which I think is kind of a lonely place. It can be a little divisive. So I'm really happy that you're balanced.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so one of the things that when people come and see me, they've often found that let's say Western medicine has failed them. That
Mm,
model of what we call broken and fixed. That's where there's when you're sick, okay, how can we cure you? Versus understanding that overall health is really important, and there's an aspect of prevention.
yeah.
So it's not like either or one or the other. It is really about a paradigm and an idea that if you are working on your overall health, if you need to, take a little bit of a painkiller to help you, okay. But you want to also look at like what is the underlying cause of that, and address that so that you're not just dependent on, like, and basically you stay underlying not well. And so what it is when you do an integrative approach is wherever you are, you use what you need, but the bigger picture is really like your health and wellness, and that
Mhm.
also translates into immunity. Immunity is one part of our whole system, right?
Right.
So we can really pinpoint, oh, I get sick all the time, or I have allergies, but that is a symptom of like, oh, how is your overall health? And we really want to look at the big picture. And so, um, Western medicine or science has one, it's like one pair of glasses with a prescription that can only look at it from a particular angle,
Mm.
but there's more to it than what they're seeing. So to just take one path, or believe that that's the only path, that is when people find out that it's not working. They don't understand why. I mean, there's a lot to it.
Mhm.
So and then a lot of people find, let's say, cures or ways of healing themselves which are outside of that model,
Mhm.
and because they do exist.
Sure.
So you have to take both into consideration, right?
Yeah.
So, like, let's say patients that come to me and they're undergoing, let's say, chemotherapy, they have cancer. Okay, I would never tell them don't take the medication. What
Mhm.
I can do is help them get through it, with the nausea, with the pain, to actually use other things that are natural to help support them to get through that process, right?
Mhm.
So there's a time and a place for everything, so that this is where, like, understanding where that meets. And so that's something that I help my patients sort out for them, what's going to work, because we really have
Mm.
to look at what is going to work for them so that they can be compliant, that they can do it, um, that it has a simple answer. Usually the more complex something is, the answer is simpler. So we take a look at, like,
Mm.
well, what is that? And one of those things, like sleep, if you're not sleeping, of course you're not going to be well, right?
Mhm.
Like, those are those things we got to look at. Okay, what can we do? At least look at, focus on a couple of things that we can really do.
Yeah, I love that you're finding that balance and you're not discounting Western medicine. We're not throwing out
Right,
the baby with the bathwater, but we're kind of
right.
expanding. Okay, this is a fix. Now, what else can we do to help your whole body be in good health? And also, I think one thing that Western medicine's not great at is that whole preventative aspect of like, okay, you're not sick, nothing's broken, but how can you treat your body well? How can you set yourself up for a lifetime of good health? And that's kind of our goal today. We want to really help parents understand kind of how to see potential problems in their family that might affect short-term or long-term health, and really gain the practical strategies. I'm all about the practical, just to avoid illness and to recover
Sure.
quickly, when we are knocked down. We're recording this during the pandemic of 2020, and so in these times, like, we cannot emphasize enough that worry and stress and sanitizing everything in this attempt to like gain control might do just the opposite, right? Because some of those, worry and stress in particular. But what do you think, Cho? Should we focus more on physical health or mental health?
Well, that's a trick question because they are both intertwined. You experience in your physical body everything, your emotions, your thoughts. They're all like, it's all one thing. They're not like outside of you. And recognizing, that our thought, what we think, can raise our blood pressure.
Yeah.
It can cause a migraine. There are so many. It can create problems with digestion, uh, anxiety, not sleeping. So we know that our mind and body are really one. You can't like
Mhm.
take it out, like, and put it on the side table when you go to bed,
Yeah.
or put it on your desk over here. That it's very much connected. And definitely more research that is being done with that brain and gut access, more and more we're looking at the nervous system as part of digestion and circulation, all of those things, not just one, they're all intertwined. And
And I
so that's
love
a great.
that. Yeah, I love that about what you do because I think in a strictly Western model, you go to one doctor for your mind, you go to one doctor for your body, you go to another doctor for your heart, another doctor for your gut. And that's really not fair because we are all one body and totally, need to be
Sure.
in balance. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things, so before I went to school for acupuncture, I started out in massage therapy, and then then I realized this is only the beginning. And one of the things that you realize is that your skin is like the largest part of your nervous system, and your
Mm-hmm.
nervous system is your brain too. So whatever we experience on the outside, it really like does this feedback. And so if you say like only one part of me, there is really not one part of you. We just talk about it that way, right? So that means, and that's good news because then you can do other things that affect the whole of you. Like everything we do actually affects the whole of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's talk about what someone's health pattern might mean. That's a phrase I've heard you use. How can we use this idea of understanding the mind body connection, especially when we think about, we as parents helping our kids reduce the impact of stress on our kids' health?
Okay. This is a great question. A lot of my patients right now, extremely stressed out. They have
Mhm.
children, have to pivot, work from home. First time, maybe, especially the women. You know, the burden has been more on the women to
Mm.
organize the home and the schooling if they haven't already been doing something like that. So it's been very stressful. And one of the things that happens is, children pick up on not the verbal cues, but they pick up on your mood, let's
Mm.
say. They really pick up on those things. So when we're stressed out, they sense it and they don't know what's wrong. Oftentimes they think they did something wrong. So they can become very nervous. So the more nervous a parent is and anxious about the future, the more the kids pick that up and then they will act out.
Mm.
So important is in this, situation, and it which really sheds a light on this dynamic. As a parent, it's really important to make sure that you are, checking off all the boxes, that you have sleep, you're getting exercise, the nutrition, all of those things so that you are stable and